talking about episode 10 of season 17 of Deadliest Catch. And the boats that'll be in this episode are the Northwestern, the Time Bandit, the Cornelia Marie, and the Southern Wind. This episode starts out with the Northwestern offloading about 12,000 pounds of opelio crab that they caught about 80 miles away from Dutch Harbor. They're in port and Nick is complaining about some pain around a rib. Sig has a doctor come on board to check out Nick, and while he's there, Clark has a toe injury. His big toe on one of his feet was kind of infected, so the medical personnel was there. They had him deal with it and heated up a needle and stuck it in Clark's toenail, and blood and whatever stuff was in there came out, and then they bandaged that up, and then it goes to the Time Bandit, and the Time Bandit is in the southern grounds. The Cornelia Marie is up by the U.S.-Russian line. The Southern Wind is gonna head up to the U.S.-Russian line because he's had good fishing in the past. Then it goes to the Time Bandit, and the Time Bandit is fishing in the south. And their first pot that comes up, it has 14 bear-eye crab in it and 2-digit numbers. The highest pot he got in the southern grounds was about 20 bear-eye crab. Then it goes to the Northwestern, and the Northwestern is still in port. The medical personnel is talking with Nick. Nick's laying in the bunk because his rib. The medical personnel comes in and feels it, and he's like, "Is that painful?" And Nick's like, "Yes." The medical personnel's like, "We need to take you to the hospital so you can get checked out and see what's going on." So they bring him to the hospital, and then it goes to the Cornelia Marie. And the Cornelia Marie is hauling in their gear up by the U.S.-Russian line, where in the first episode they were killing it with bear-eye crab. Their first pot comes in with like 661 bear-eye crab in it, and they show other pots and it's just doing really good. And then Johnathan on the Time Bandit calls Casey to ask him how's their fishing, because Johnathan is not doing good down south. So Casey's like, "It's hit or miss here." He's like, "We're doing pretty good on cod pots." So then Casey was like, "Hold on, let me call you back in a few minutes so I can talk with Josh," and hangs up on Johnathan, and then he starts talking with Josh, and he's like, "Let's just see how our next 5 strings go, and once it's doing good, we'll let Johnathan know." Josh was like, "Okay," because they weren't sure if the spot they're on was gonna keep hitting really good like it has been doing. So Casey calls back Johnathan, and he's like, keeping on with the same message, and then all of a sudden over the intercom from the deck to the wheelhouse, the guys say the crab count, and it comes back at 551 bear-eye crab, and while that's happening, Casey brings the phone to his chest to kind of block out the sound so Johnathan can't hear it. But as it turns out, after that point, it goes back to the Time Bandit, and Johnathan was like, "I think the crew just gave him up, because I heard 551 crab count." So Jonathan's like to his crew, he's like, "We're gonna stack and we're gonna move up by the Cornelia Marie boys." Then it goes to the Southern Wind, and the Southern Wind is just getting up to the U.S.-Russian line where they're gonna set their 200 plus crab pots. They start sending their gear there. Muncie, the chief engineer on the Southern Wind, he was given the opportunity to run a boat for cod fishing. He's doing that, and they have a new guy as their deck boss on the Southern Wind, and he's giving his crew a speech and getting them ready to start sending their gear. So they start sending the gear, and it's not going as good as Harley would have wanted it. The guys on the stack are moving too fast for Harley and just being a little more dangerous than he'd like. Then it goes back to the Northwestern. The medical personnel who has been checking in on Nick, he was like, "If it goes untreated, it could potentially kill him. We're gonna fly him to a big hospital where Nick can be treated for what's going on." Then it goes to the Time Bandit, and Johnathan turned off his AIS tracker, so he's up by Josh and Casey on the Cornelia Marie right now, and he goes there and he's like, "Is that a Cornelia Marie pot?" He starts sending his gear around where the Cornelia Marie has set their gear. Then it goes to the Cornelia Marie, and the Cornelia Marie's hauling in their gear. Then all of a sudden, while they're hauling in a pot, their coiler starts leaking hydraulic fluid out of the center of it. which is not good. So the crew starts looking to see if they have a seal, because they think it's a seal in the motor to keep the hydraulic oil from spilling out and staying in the motor. Casey starts looking to see if they have the right seal for that block, and they don't have it. So Josh is like, the only other boat that is in this area about 15 miles up from us is Harley on the southern wind. So shows the southern wind and the Cornelia Marie, and Casey's like, do you guys have an extra block or one of those seals to help keep block running? Harley's like, no, I don't have that, but I do have an extra block that you guys can use. It's my spare. The southern wind is doing really good on their pots. They're getting about 500 to 600 plus barredeye crab in each pot. And Harley's like, come up and grab the block. Cornelia Marie comes up to the southern wind to pick up the block, and they get to the southern wind and they pick up the block, but then they find out that the block is completely different and it's unusable for them. So then it goes to the Northwestern, and the Northwestern is getting ready to leave port without Nick. They're starting to go by the airport so they can see Nick leave in a medical transport plane because he needs to get on it to get taken care of. The Northwestern is kind of by there, and the plane's taxiing with Nick to take off, and they see him go, and Sig honks the horn at Nick while he's flying off. And he was like, 3 people on this boat have been airlifted by that same plane. I've been airlifted because of the heart attack I had at sea. Norman was last season when he fell in the engine room, and now Nick. So they said their final goodbye for the season for Nick, and they took off to go out to the crab grounds and go fishing again. Then it goes to the Cornelia Marie, and Josh and Casey start talking. They're like, looks like we're gonna have to take a 1,100 mile round trip. It's like 550 some miles to go back to Dutch Harbor and back out to the ground. So we're gonna be going about 1,100 miles, which is about $15,000 in fuel costs. And who knows how long it'll take. And then right as they're getting ready to do that, Johnathan calls them on the phone. Jonathan's like, I found your guys' area and it's doing really good. So he's not pissed off, but he's like, let's work together like we've been doing and let's get this all good. So Josh and Casey tell him what's going on, and they're like, we've got some pots that have been sitting for way longer than we normally want them to sit. So they're like, can you haul our pots in for us? So they'll be good when they go into your guys' crab tanks. And Jonathan's like, yeah, we can do that. Let's just keep this partnership going and it'll be good from here. Let's not kind of be dishonest with each other. Casey's like, we'll print off all of our pots where they are and stuff. Casey's like, we'll bring that information to you and give it to you real soon. And then it goes to the Time Bandit, and Jonathan's like, we're gonna do it for him because that's what we do up here. We're partners. We're all good. And he's like, I'm not just gonna grab their crab, I'm gonna stack up all of their pots and I'm gonna move it on to some really good fishing for them, because that's what partners do. So he's like, I'm gonna leave it in good hands for him because I want him to be on good fishing, and I don't want him to just have to start all over because they don't know how long it'll take to get back to the ground. That's what Jonathan's gonna do. And then it goes to the Cornelia Marie, and the Cornelia Marie goes up to the Time Bandit, and they have all of their printed off coordinates and numbered pots to Johnathan, and they send it on a buoy and have it in a big bag, and they throw it off right next to the Time Bandit, and the Time Bandit picks him up, and that is how episode 10 of season 17 of Deadliest Catch ends. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will have episode 11 out within the next week, so stay tuned for that, and don't forget to hit the bell icon down below so I can be notified when I upload videos. Also, please share this video with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you guys for watching, and if you ain't dreaming, you ain't living. Don't forget to dream big.